Hey there, welcome to Hermit Haven. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. We're so excited to invite you into our safe space. Hermit Haven is like a cozy little hideout where we can celebrate being confident in ourselves as we find happiness in quiet moments.
So grab your favorite blanket and your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Hermit Haven.
Hi, I'm Ashley. We're so excited to have you today. We are up to episode 70. This is crazy, y'all. We were so happy that we got to share 70 episodes with you because this is a 70th episode. This is a fun episode. Every fifth episode is a fun episode. So you'll get 4 episodes of us just chit-chatting real deep about something. We love to chit-chat and we love to chit-chat with y'all. But on the fifth episode, we'd like to just take it back, take a break, talk about something that maybe is more related to us, let y'all get to know us. Another good way to get to know us is we as a wow, those words just merged so fast together. We have a newsletter that we put together. So if you do want to get to know us more, that's a great place to get to know us. We also have our personal social medias. We have our Facebook group. So there's definitely all the other places to get to know us besides Hermit Haven social media. So let's get started. This episode, we are going to talk about romanticizing spring, which is so important just in alone, right? This is not a deep episode, but we do want to talk about how important it is to really I don't know, get excited for these seasons, prep for these seasons, because these seasons going to happen so fast. And there's only certain memories that can be made in those seasons that you're not going to be able to make in other seasons, right? And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into what our personal bucket list is. And we want to know what your personal bucket list is also. So if you're listening to this, make sure you stay tuned, comment later what those bucket lists are. Let's go.
Yay. I guess I'm going. Okay, so romanticizing spring. I first of all love trying to romanticize like everything in life in general. This morning I was just like feeling a little off, and in my kitchen, something that I added like more recently, which I don't know if this is spring related, but just another way that I'm romanticizing life is in my kitchen, like the place that I stand at majority of the time to like make the kids breakfast and make the kids lunches and like do whatever. Whenever I'm in the kitchen, I'm in this like one spot. I put a little candle. And so in the mornings, I make sure to light my little candle because I don't like to turn on like all the crazy lights, you know? And so I put my little candle on while I'm doing whatever I have to do in the mornings, like the mundane things for the kids, you know, that's kind of like the same every day. And I just put my little candle on. I don't know. That just makes me feel like my life is like I'm just like dee, 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 like floating around with my little candle on. It's like something so small, but I don't know. I mean, I have one on my table, but like I'm standing right there at the kitchen counter. I'm like, why don't I have something more fun here? And you can put whatever you want. You could have a cute like picture of like a whimsy something. Like you could put whatever you want, but like in those spaces that you are all the time, having something that just makes you feel like your environment is like 10 times better, something as small as a candle, you know, and having low lighting or whatever.
I
It's the
love it.
best.
Could
It's
be
the
like
best.
flowers too.
Yeah,
Bring
could be
us,
flowers.
bring us fresh flowers. So maybe.
Spring. I know. I usually get tulips in the spring. I don't
Oh,
know. I love tulips because they just kind of like hang all weird and like crazy. And I just think like they're so organic, I guess. I don't know. I just love tulips so much. I get them in the
I I don't even I feel like spring is always like a hit or miss because depending where I live, because I've lived in so many places in my life, depending where I live, it depends on the weather. Like, is it gonna be a cold spring or is it gonna be a warm spring? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, Ari was born in spring. He's born in April, and we literally brought our son home in a snowstorm in the middle of April. So like it's one of those things
Knowing.
that I feel like play with your feelings. It's like you get a taste of like the warmth some days, and then some days you get the nice little cold weather again. So I love thinking about spring. I like thinking about though. So for me, I actually relate spring to Passover. So Passover always happens in spring, right? And I always relate spring to Passover, and I relate it to like this time of family and this time of like reconnection. And I don't know why, but spring always gets me excited because in my brain, I just go, oh my God, I'm gonna do all these cool things. I'm gonna reconnect with all these cool people, and I'm like gonna see my family. And I don't even know if that even happens. It's just something about like spring itself, like I have that like vibe, and I love that you start like when you start seeing that life has multiple seasons, but then you also see that like each season has different things to offer. Like in spring, right? It brings me maybe more family or it brings me more like sunshine. Like, wow, I can take more walks, right? I'm literally going with Ari to go see my parents and my mother-in-law and like my stepfather-in-law for like Passover, but like we'll spend the whole Passover at my parents. But like I'm so excited. Like that's where I get to celebrate, I guess I get to romanticize spring and Passover with my family. Like I don't know, it's just so
Yeah.
exciting that we are approaching. And also I feel like too, I don't know, maybe it's just because like my teacher brain goes there, but I was teaching about seasons before I left my nannying job. And I think we spent like 2 weeks learning about seasons and like how that divides our year up. Our year is divided in four parts, technically, if you think about it, in by seasons, right? Like
Yeah.
you associate the holiday season with the winter. You associate, July 4th, going to the beach, summer, school's out, camp in the summer, right? Like your life is divided by these seasons, right? So it's so exciting to think about, like, oh my God, this next season's coming, I get to do this. And then the next season's coming, I get to do this, right? But while you're preparing and getting excited, make sure you're enjoying the season you're in now. So right now, right, as we're probably listening to this, we're still might be a little cold out, right? We're just getting up to that spring season, ending winter season almost, right? Still enjoy winter. Like, how thankful are we that we were able to have winter so these animals can go hibernate, right? So the earth can do what the earth needs to do, right? I know it's hard on us as humans, but the earth needs to do what the earth needs to do. And how awesome is that we were able to have ice game? We were have a winter Olympics during the winter.
Yeah.
How amazing is that, right? Well, that doesn't happen every year, right? There's just certain things that you don't see unless you open your brain and your mind and the blessings around us.
Yeah. Seeing the gratitude for like things that you sometimes take like I was gonna say advantage, take for granted. Wow, my brain's tired. Yeah, things that we just like take for granted all the time, but like seeing the magic in the little things. I know I've never seen snow ever. And I know when I say to someone like, "Yeah, I've never seen snow," people that usually live in snow, they're like, "Oh, well, just wait till you live in it. It's, and they just like get all like, 'cause I tend to not even tell people that I've never seen snow because it's just like this weird thing that I get from them. But I'm like, you know, I'm sure that there's so many like good things though that you like fun things that you can do in the snow and you're probably just not, and I know that it's hard. I get it. Like there's the seasonal depression you can get. Like there's different things. I get it. It's probably hard. I feel that. But I just feel like if we see like what is in front of us, then it makes it so much easier because we can say the same thing for the summer here in Florida. I know people think of summer and like being outside and going to the beach and like yes, but also here in Florida it is hard to be outside. It's really hard. Like it's so hot, it's so humid. People in Florida don't really want to be outside in the summer. Like it's just way too hot. And so, you can easily say the same thing like, "Oh, well, it's just so hot here and no one wants to be outside." But like there's so many amazing things that happen. So spring is no different. Whenever I think of spring, I actually think of gardening, and I have not been like the best at my garden in maybe a year or so, but I'm like determined this year to do a little bit more and do more flowers. I've really never grown a lot of flowers. And so one thing that I remember like I think 2 years ago in the spring, I was even doing like a lot of TikTok videos about it. I would get my coffee and I would go out to my garden and I would be sipping my coffee and I'd be like just spraying down my plants with water and like watering them like early in the morning. And it just was like, it's a little bit cool in the morning still. The birds are chirping because it's spring and they're having babies, whatever they're doing. And like, it's just like the most magical little thing. And it's not like I have a huge garden. It's not anything special. Like anyone can do that. You can have a pot on your patio and do the same thing, but just like something about the spring and just like things growing and like sipping my coffee in the morning. I don't know. It just always like this little magical environment. And I miss that. So I need to get into my garden and start
Feel
doing
like
more.
too, as we talk about this, like I'm thinking like, okay, maybe these are like journaling prompts we need to talk like journal about until we get to spring, like the things that we want to do, in spring. Like what are the things that are exciting about spring? I think too, something you were talking about too, is I was thinking about the whole time you're talking about, it's I've never seen snow this. I was thinking about how many people live a different life. Like how many people can say that I grew up and I had snowstorms and I missed school. How many people can grow up and say I never seen snow, right? Like
Yeah.
we have never walked a day in someone else's shoes, so we don't know what they've been through. And so
Yeah.
it's so cool to have like these shared experiences, but non-shared experiences. Like
Yeah.
I lived in a place where I had to drive in the snow and I couldn't stand it. I remember I had a job And I picked up a shift, or I was given a shift, and I had to drive on the highway, and it was really bad out. And they were like, "Well, you said you would come when we interviewed you. That you said you would come even in snow." I said, "That's great." I said, "It is so bad out that I'm not risking my life for a hostess job." I said, "Have a great day." Like I was like, absolutely not, because I'm not driving in snow, right?
I
Like,
mean, we have rainstorms here in Florida where you can't see in front of you when you're driving.
yeah,
Like, it gets pretty bad. I mean, hurricanes, obviously, but there are just regular, just sh whatever, showers that happen during the summer, every single day in the summer, in the afternoon, if you come to Florida, just so you know it's gonna rain. Uh,
but I
yeah,
love that. But I love that, like, I can tell you stories about me being like, I don't want to drive in the snow. I got stuck in the snow, or like me and my friends hanging out in the snow. And you're like, I can't tell you those stories, but I can tell you other stories, right? And
yeah,
that's what I love about talking about like this bucket list, because what you might be doing is completely different what I might be doing,
yeah,
because we're in two different states, living two different lives with two different types of children. Your children are older, my child's small, right? Like we have different interests, right? This is why this is so fun, because there might be things on here that we're not even thinking about, right? Like,
yeah,
and I think too, it's motivating. Like, right, we're not gonna. And we were talking about this about a different topic, but we see other people doing something, and we're like, well, why? Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't I just do my own thing? You can do your own thing. Like,
yeah,
spring is coming. What are you looking forward to? Another thing I thought about is another reason why I think about like gathering is spring break. Duh,
yeah,
we all like are excited. The first like break, there's warmth, there's this, right? I think spring break is always like a time where, you hang out with your friends, you go, I remember we would go to the river when I lived in Richmond. I remember I went to Cancun for spring break. Like spring, has something like associated to it that's big, right? I think every
yeah,
season really has something associated that's big, right? Winter is your holidays, summer is, you get the point.
yeah,
But
yeah. No, but spring is fun. I feel like it has not as many like commercial holidays as the other seasons have, but also like it's like a time of like I don't know, it's almost like I like peace at the same time that I want to like ramp up things in my life. Like even though those don't seem like the same, like
mhm.
I want to ramp up things in my life, but also like be doing my own thing to where I have like a little peace bubble.
No, I get that. I feel like too, spring's a good time, like you said, like, the trees are, everything's blossoming, everything's doing. So maybe this is a good time to like,
Yeah,
they say that spring reset, whatever you want to call it, the spring
yeah,
cleaning, right? Like,
yeah,
right? This is like that reset, right? And again, like
yeah,
this can happen at any time. You can reset your house whenever, you can do all these things whenever, but like maybe that's part of the bucket list. Like, right? Like resetting the rooms that haven't been reset. So like maybe it's resetting the closet that hasn't been reset. Like, right? Or maybe it's resetting the silverware drawer, the junk drawer, right?
the
Like,
garage.
right. Oh my God, I saw this video and I was like, I felt like I was getting called out. I sent it to you, Jackie. But it was her being like, procrastinated this for 2 years. And then she timed how long she did it. It was like the silverware drawer and it was like 15 minutes. She's like, procrastinating this for 6 months. It took her 10 minutes. Like, I was just like, maybe that should be on our bucket list. The things we're procrastinating are going to be reset
Yeah,
in spring so that we can reset the rest of our year, if that's how you want to look at it, right? I
yeah.
think another thing about spring is like, I feel like too, like getting outside, like this is the start of
Hmm.
sun. Push in yourself, even if it's like 5 minutes. Like, okay, I have to go check the mail. Maybe I'll walk to the end of the block and then get the mail and go home, right? Like making a difference in your day to enjoy what Mother Nature is giving us in this season. So, so maybe you see a pretty flower instead of just being like, oh, that's a pretty flower. Take a picture, send it to your friends, make their
Yep.
day, right?
Yep.
Like, we all have, I feel like if I took a pretty picture, oh my God, every time, Matt is adorable. But anytime he sees like a bunny, a pretty picture, a horse, or what, not a horse, a cow, or whatever it is, he's like, oh, send it to my mom, right? Like people like that kind of stuff, right? People
Yeah.
want to know that they're thought about. So like maybe like think about like in spring, like, oh, my friend really likes tulip. Oh my God, what was the flower you just said?
Tulips.
Tulips, yeah.
Tulips.
So, or
Yeah.
two, I get excited for spring because there's a new coffee menu. Every spring there's a new coffee menu. And this girl loves her coffee.
I love it. It's funny what you were just saying before about how like each person has different experiences. And it's funny, like January, February, March, and April are the best weather months in Florida. Arguably, maybe that's just my opinion, but like the best weather months. It's cool. It's not super duper hot, but it's not like cold like you are. I mean, it was rarely very cold for us. We had like frost and stuff. We usually don't even get a frost here in Central Florida, like where I'm at. A lot of our plants died because they were like, what the heck is going on this year? Like that never happens.
Oh my God, I know you
And
guys was colder there than here.
yeah, it's been like this morning there was like frost on like the cars and stuff, and it's so weird. But normally, there's just like the best weather months, and so we want to be outside, we want to be doing things. And I know it's obviously so different in other parts of the country where it is very cold and it is snowing and people don't want to be outside. So for me, in my little Florida brain, spring is very like be outside time, like go on outside walks and be outside, go to the park, like sit outside, open your doors and let the fresh air in, which you want to do all the time anyway. But when it's like 100 degrees in Florida and it's humid, you like don't always want to do that because you're like, you can't
Yeah,
breathe.
no, I agree that like there's oh my gosh, January is like one of the best months, I think, in Florida.
Yeah, yeah, it's
I'm
beautiful.
excited to see what spring looks like in Washington. So like, it was so funny. So when we lived in Colorado, we talked a lot about how like, oh, we made it through all the seasons here. Like that was our, we saw, we moved here in this season and we left in that. We moved in fall and we left pretty much during fall season, which
Yeah,
is like so I think we came in at the end of summer, technically, beginning of fall. But so we're excited because we're like, okay, we saw all the seasons in Colorado. We haven't experienced all the seasons in Washington. Now we'll experience all the seasons
that's
in
fun.
Washington.
I love that.
So I think too, like, there's, I feel like people start getting into like, I know it sounds bad, but like, it is what it is, right? People have seasonal depression. The weather really does
Yeah,
affect you. Like, people start getting in a better mood, right? Because
yeah,
it's getting warmer out. So, like, maybe it's easier to have like gatherings with people, right? Like,
yeah,
hey, let's meet up and have a picnic, right? Or like, hey, it's going to be a beautiful day. Let's go to the beach, even if it's like too cold to go in the water, let's have our coffee on the beach or whatever it is. Like, I don't know. I really think of spring as just a gathering. I think of spring as like, how can I get myself outside? How can I reset? Like, that's usually my bucket list. Like, I feel like
yeah,
too, sometimes in a season or when you're writing your like to-do list or bucket list, you need a theme, right? So, like, maybe
yeah.
your theme is like reset. Okay, well, what are the things that need to be reset this spring? Okay, or maybe your theme is outdoors. So, how can I get outdoors, right? So, like, maybe your bucket list could be like, oh, 1,000, spend 500 hours or 200 hours outside during spring,
That'd
right?
be fun to track 1 year.
Yeah, there's a influencer I follow, this guy. She's been doing this for like 4 years now. I don't think she tracked it last year, but she did for like 4 years straight. There's like an app you can download. It's called 1,000 hours outside. But her goal is like every year to do 1,000 hours outside.
Love that.
So
Well, speaking of bucket lists, one of the things on my bucket list is to be outside more.
see, I
Go to the
agree.
park, like go take the boys to the park, even if I'm sitting there and like reading on my Kindle, like just letting them play, being outside. Like I said, like this is our prime time right now, really, for being outside because it's so beautiful. So that is one of the big things on my spring bucket list this
I
year.
love that.
Yeah.
I want to do not just go to the park outside, but I want to make more time just to like sit outside, like outside or like right outside
Yeah.
our door. Like I feel like so many times
Yeah.
when we think we have to go outside, we are like have to go on this like big excursion. Like for some
Mhm.
reason our backyard's not good enough.
Yeah.
Right? Like because it's attached to our house, right?
Yep.
But I think
Yep.
just like we have a backyard, why not like maybe in the morning, like when I want to sip my coffee, bring a play mat or a blanket outside and let him play outside, and I
That's
can.
what I used to do with Pierce. I still have pictures of baby Pierce, and he'd be on his little blanket, and I'd be just sitting there. Anyway,
But
sorry.
I think, and maybe that's the goal too. Like I think, we all have different brains. So like maybe you could sit down and be like, okay, for each member of my family, what is 5 things I want to do with them?
Yeah.
Like, one thing is you want to take your boys to the park. Okay, so like maybe your another thing is you want to take them for more walks, right? Like right? Because it goes with your
Yeah.
outdoor theme. I think that's
Yeah.
what's so fun about like when you're really being intentional about seasons and you're really romanticizing what is about to come because every season brings something new and something beautiful. You start like, I don't know, you start feeling more fulfilled. You start wanting to live your life in a different way and more intentional.
Yeah. I also like, speaking of the spring cleaning thing, like I'm the person that gets really weighed down. There's a lot of stuff. I was telling Ashley, like we came back from our trip and I just felt like my house was there was just we did unpacked and we had new stuff because it's Pierce's birthday and there's like a lot going on and there's just stuff everywhere. On every table and every counter, there's just stuff. And that makes me crazy personally. And so I love every single year going through and being like, okay. what have we loved and we don't need anymore, or what do we still like want, or what can we give up, or what do we not use anymore, what's broken, like, and just cleaning. And I know last year we did, what was it, the art of the magic of
Tidying up.
tidying up? Is that it? Yeah,
I
by
think so.
Marie Kondo.
I feel like we always get the name wrong. We need to do that book
I
again.
know.
I'm
It's a
telling you.
long title, but it's by Marie Kondo and she's amazing and it's so
Okay,
good. And I
but I'm
still fold my
serious.
socks that way.
We need to do that book again. So if anyone's serious about reading this book with us, let us
Yeah,
know in the
it's
comments
so good.
because I think that should be a bucket list item is get a few women from Hermit Haven to read that book with us and do an
Yeah,
actual book club. We
it's
could do like a
10 out
Facebook
of
or
10.
something.
Yeah. Like, cause I feel like, I don't know. I not that I didn't need it, but I was like, well, what am I gonna get out of this? Because I feel like almost every year I do go through room by room. I have to break things down because I get really overwhelmed. So I have to be like, okay, this area of the room and then this area, like I have to really break it down. But I loved that book so much. It was very helpful. And for
That is,
us,
I
like
feel like
for
that
our,
book is like a book you have to read every year. So
yeah, yeah, because there's always something that you're gonna get out of it. It's so good. It's so good. Um, But
what
yeah, we're
about you?
trying to get both of our cars in our two-car garage. And a few years ago, our garage looked like an episode of Hoarders. And so we've come a very long way, a very long way. And we're getting so close. But Glenn just got a new car. So we're trying to get both of our cars in the garage. So I think that's going to be like our big spring cleaning, if you will,
I
project
love
is
that.
just continuing to work on. Sometimes it's hard to, because you're like, oh, well, am I going to need this? Am I going to need this? And most of the time it's like, you don't.
Mhm, you
You
don't.
haven't used it in so long unless you have a specific purpose for it. Like you don't.
You know what it is?
And so
You know what I feel like is when you keep it that long and then you're like, oh, that one time you use it, it's because you convince yourself that you have to eventually use it. And so you make an
right.
excuse to use
Yeah.
it. Like there was this one headband I wore it.
And
Oh, you go.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I had this one headband that I bought that I thought would be really cute with Disney ears to go to Disney, right? And I had it for like ever. And I swear I had it for like 4 years. I convinced myself that would be look really cute with our Halloween costume. And it looked really cute with our Halloween costume. But A, why did I buy it? I never had a real purpose. B, I never wore it. Why did I keep it so
Yeah.
long?
I know. I know. No, I was just gonna say, like, a lot of the times we're emotionally attached to things, and the Marie Kondo book is so good for that because she teaches you how to separate like your emotion from the thing, because that's why we keep so much stuff, is there's usually an emotional connection of some sort to it. And so anyway, that book is amazing. I need to reread that. I need to reread that.
Let's do it. I love it. I love just like, again, being intentional. And I feel like us talking about it, like, even if we're not actively writing this bucket list down or we actively are not like completely switched over to spring mode yet, I think us talking about it and y'all listening to it is prepping your brain. And I don't know, it's like triggering your brain to be like, oh, wait, we're getting there. We're getting closer. Like,
Yeah.
this is happening. This is coming because things happen so fast. We don't realize it, right?
Yeah. It's already almost March. Wasn't it just the new year like yesterday? And
Literally.
now
My baby is about to be 1. He just woke up. My
when this episode releases, it will be March.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But like literally, like my baby is gonna be 1. I'm like, he was just born. What do you mean he's gonna be 1?
I know. I know. It just goes by so fast. And but
Oh,
when I feel like oh, I feel like when we're being present and like, you know, romanticizing, I guess, like more things, we're like it still goes by fast, but I just feel like we're able to be like, oh my gosh, but it didn't just fly by. Like it did go by, but we were so present in that time and like we did so much. And I don't know. I feel like I sometimes I get sad like how fast time goes by, and sometimes spring makes me like realize it for some reason. And but I've been learning to be like we're doing as much I'm doing as much as I can as a mom to like bring us together and like have a bond and like do more things. And that's enough, like that's enough, and my kids are going to have great memories. And for here in Florida, I know like a lot of sports, like this is prime time for a lot of kids that are doing sports because it's nice to be outside. So there's just like a lot of, I feel like everything relates to the outside
yeah,
in
no,
spring in Florida.
it does.
Yeah.
I think too, like thinking about things too on a deeper level. Like I remember looking back at photos from fall of Ari, and I remember like how I took these pictures of him outside on like the little outdoor mat and like with the fall leaves. And I was just like, I'm so glad I took those pictures because
Yeah,
I'll never have that moment again. Like
yeah,
this was his first fall. I got to be with him as a mom. Like it's not just showing up and doing the spring things, but this is your what, this is your first time having a 5-year-old and during, for spring.
yeah,
What adventures are you going to do at 5 with him, And this is the first time I'm
yeah.
gonna have a 1-year-old in spring. What adventures am I going to do with my 1-year-old at spring? Like, it's like it's not just about the activities, but it's really about like what will make me feel fulfilled when I look back in this moment, right? Like when I look back on this moment, am I going to feel fulfilled because I had to read the latest gossip about whatever celebrity did whatever? And that was so important. Was that on my bucket list? No. What was on my bucket list was to take my son outside to see the flowers. So let me
Yeah.
put my phone down and I'm gonna go do that. What maybe on my bucket list is to reset. So maybe instead of you know, I don't know, like procrastinating in the morning, doing whatever, I can spend 5 minutes, reorganizing a cabinet. Even if it's not finished, it'll be done in a week?
Yeah. I
And I
think
think, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think spring is definitely gonna be a like put my phone down more. I think it has been like we've both been getting there personally. We talk about this all the time, but I think like we're definitely gonna get even more into that. The only thing I really like having my phone for though is to take pictures. So I almost like want to invest in like some sort of a nice digital camera that I could have instead of my phone. But then it's like I always feel guilty because I'm like, I don't need another thing because I have a phone that takes pictures, like
Yeah.
anyway. But I know I talk about journaling a lot, and I know when we think of journaling, we think of like writing our thoughts and feelings and journal prompts and stuff. But I've been memory keeping. I have a really bad memory personally. You don't have to do this if you have bad memory, just do it. But I think that's such a fun spring thing to do because it's just like a little notebook, and I can print out pictures of
Mhm.
me and the kids doing whatever we're doing and like do a short recap. It doesn't have to be like a huge page or anything. It just can be like a short little like, this is what we did today recap. And I feel like that makes you more mindful of like the things that you've done. You're more grateful for what you've done, but you're also thinking like, well, I want to be able to like write something fun in my little journal today. So like what can we do that's fun today? Even if it's just like making popsicles or it doesn't have to be anything crazy. But
Love that. It could be, and I love that.
yeah.
I want to build off that two things. Like, I think too, this is a great time to reflect on last season, right? Maybe scrapbooking last season or writing down memories, like you're saying, right? Or journaling, your top 5 things, right? Or like maybe interviewing your kids what they enjoyed about winter, right? Like I think,
That's cute.
this is like great time to, think about last season. Make sure that make sure you took time to think about last season before you enter the next season. I think that's a
Yeah.
big thing, like you're saying, like take those memories, but make sure you're
Yeah.
looking at last season. Make sure you wrote those memories down last season. You're never going to have this season of life again. You're never going to be 32, 31, 21. You're never going to have this season of life again. You're never going to experience what you experienced during this season ever again.
Yeah.
I think too, like that's a great idea. Like maybe there's special spring crafts that you could do with your children. Maybe there's special spring science missions, maybe going on a nature hunt with your
Yeah.
child. I love a scavenger hunt outside. You could do a color scavenger hunt. You could go outside in your backyard and like get like dinosaurs or I don't know, like lions, tigers, bears, whatever, like little like animals and just spread them out in your backyard and let your kids go on a scavenger hunt for them, right? How many can they find? Do math with them. Like this is such a fun scavenger hunt season, right? What trees are you notice blossoming? What flowers are you notice? Like maybe, this will bring the interest to like, oh, let's go to the library and learn more? I
Hmm.
I love that. I love that so much. Like crafting, I think too, like that's something like I think about with Ari, right? What can I do more with him? And I think that's like my goal in spring too, is maybe we could do more crafts during his wake window, right? Maybe we could do one craft a week, right? And I think again, it goes back to, are we just living life day by day on the fly? Or are we being intentional about the season, the time, everything we're walking into?
Yeah. Could even be just like reading a book with your kid, like especially if they're a little bit older and they're into more like chaptery books. I mean, it could be any book, but like starting a book with Gavin and being able to sit outside like on the patio where it's nice and like be reading a book every day together. Just like that shared experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Sorry, I'm like watching if he actually needs me, but he's just chilling. Uh, He's just chilling. I love him. But
I
no,
love I feel like this bucket list is different from our fall because fall more had like actual structured
yeah.
activities that you can do, like because it's more recognized as like, I don't know, something to be out and doing stuff. Then spring is more like you just came out of this potentially harsh, winter, and now you're going into like you're coming out and you're like experiencing life again. And yeah, I feel like it's more like a, a flow. I don't know, like
I
exciting,
think
but
I think
slowly focused.
too, I think too, like the more we chit chat and the more we romanticize our lives and we really get intentional, we start realizing it's not about the activities that we want, it's about the time with others that we want.
Yeah,
I think this is why this, and I think too, when we think about spring, it's really about reset and spending time with others, right?
yeah,
Because spring break, right? So you're thinking about going on vacation, you're thinking about doing all these other things, right? I think right we associate the seasons with different thoughts and different
yeah,
things, right? And it might be different for someone else, right,
yeah,
like people walk a different life, and so and wherever they live, whatever holidays they celebrate, it could be completely different, right? Like, if you celebrate Easter and Ash Wednesday, your April is going to look different than mine, where I celebrate Passover,
yeah,
right? And then coming from like my parents' house, like in Passover, like my parents keep strictly Passover. So we don't eat out, we don't eat grains, we don't eat flour. So like that's all I know is Passover for April, right?
yeah,
Like, so I think talking and chit-chatting with other women, other people, and seeing what are you doing this spring can bring up ideas that you didn't even think about. Like how Jackie was like maybe doing crafts or different.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
love this episode. I just love getting to know you more. And I love us getting to tell our viewers more about us and tell our group and tell our ladies and tell the people who are listening, whatever you want to call yourself, right? Like this community is built for you. We are here. We are loving it. We are 70 episodes in and we are not stopping. So we will see you next Wednesday for a new episode. Remember, we have a link filled with old episodes where you can find us, whatever you need. It has our newsletter too, which we worked really hard on. It has some of our favorites. It has journaling prompts, has a cleaning list, has it all. We love you all. We'll see you
Love
soon.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for spending time with us today and being part of our Hermit Haven community.
We hope you enjoyed our cozy chat and are inspired to embrace your inner hermit.
Remember, even in the quiet moments, you're never alone on this journey because we are truly all in this together.
So until next time, stay cozy, stay true to yourself, and keep spreading love wherever you go.
Bye for now.
We'll see you next time.